Principal, honored guests, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of all the recipients of honorary degrees, I offer our thanks and our congratulations on the occasion of this great university's 600th anniversary. Now, there was a time when St. Andrews was seen as the end of the earth, a place to hide holy relics, to escape the wrath of foreign kings and armies. St. Andrews has never been a place for calm seas, and that's a good thing, because out of the churn and chop arise creativity and excellence. Today, this is where things begin. Teaching that opens the world, research that improves the world, even a love affair that enchants the world. Nurtured by academic freedom and public investment in higher education, this is a place not only so rich in tradition, but also in potential. Now, for a newcomer like myself, there is a lot to take in. How high on the shoulders to wear the gown? What do I do if I step on the pH? Can I take a May dip in September? So I could use a little guidance. Maybe some of the students here would be willing to take on another academic daughter. I have brought plenty of raisins in case you take me up on it. I do take comfort from knowing there is a long tradition of Americans being warmly welcomed here at St. Andrews. Every year, I learned, you educate more than 1,000 American students, exposing them to new ideas and perspectives, as well as affording them with a first-class education. I've been proud and fortunate to hire a few St. Andrews alumni over the years, and I thank you for training them so well. As one of the world's great universities, you are also home to many American scholars and teachers. And as I accept this honorary degree, I am well aware I follow in the giant footsteps of another well-traveled American diplomat, Benjamin Franklin. Thanks to St. Andrews, we know him as Dr. Franklin. In addition to his degree, Dr. Franklin's visit in 1759 left him with a lasting affection for Scotland and relationships with leading figures of the Scottish Enlightenment, including Adam Smith and David Hume and Henry Home. Later, Dr. Franklin described his visits to Scotland as periods of the densest happiness he had ever known. I will be taking some of that dense happiness back with me. Sharing this stage with such an accomplished group of scholars and scientists, writers, and thinkers is daunting, I confess. Just listening to the descriptions of their accomplishments and reading more detail about each of them in the program, we see how much each has already contributed to the understanding of the world and of ourselves. But this is not only a retrospective about their great accomplishments individually. I think we have already heard from this podium today. This is a call to action as well. Their work tells us much about the challenges we face in the 21st century, as well as the opportunities that we can and should seize together. Some of the scientific findings and scholarly interpretations expand our awareness, while others pose questions that cause consternation. But all serve the high mission of truth-seeking, the only firm foundation for personal and political decision-making. Today we see all around us challenges to the arts and the sciences coming from different directions. One of our honorands already spoke out about the absolute necessity of nurturing the arts, the so-called liberal arts, not only because of what they have already given us, but because of the promise of what they will continue to offer those who pay attention going forward. With the sciences, we have a different kind of challenge. Everyone loves science when it agrees with their pre-existing conception about what should be the discovery and its interpretation. But that is not what science is for. And science equally needs protection from interference and political abuse. I send greetings to Peter Higgs, who could not be with us today because of illness, because when one thinks about his theory at the University of Edinburgh in 1964, that maybe a subatomic missing link actually existed and would help to explain how the universe fits together in a unified whole, lay people probably didn't pay much attention, but it lit up the world of physics and all that came after. And last year, a team of physicists working in a tunnel deep below the Swiss Alps, using the most powerful particle accelerator ever constructed, finally identified that elusive particle. Now, I don't pretend to understand the intricacies or even the most simplistic explanations of particle physics, but this discovery struck a chord with me. In my recent work on behalf of my country and international affairs, we too grapple with how to make sense of a world that is deeply interconnected and interdependent, but afflicted by group denial of real-world evidence and rejection of tolerance for views outside traditional thinking. I would love to find a particle that would help put the pieces of diplomacy together. We see it every day, the need to understand this interconnection and interdependence. Because of advances in technology and communications, events that were once isolated ripple across the globe. It's not only that a flu in Canton can become an epidemic in Chicago, or a standoff in the Straits of Hormuz can spike the price of oil in Aberdeen and cut the profits of factories in Glasgow. It's also that the courage of one young girl in Pakistan can inspire millions across the globe to demand access to education and opportunity. And a brilliant idea hatched in a flat in Fife can become a global business that improves the lives of millions. That is the power of interdependence. And whether some like it or not, countries and communities are more connected than ever before. And certainly, as one of our honorands has already demonstrated with his work, increasingly the real world mirrors the virtual world. An endless series of links. In effect, a worldwide web of interdependence surrounds us. Now that networked world opens enormous opportunities for growth and innovation, but it also feeds complex, cross-cutting challenges like climate change, economic inequality, the proliferation of dangerous weapons and perverse ideologies. Nations, businesses, and citizens alike have to adapt to this fast-changing world. We all have to work better, smarter, and more collaboratively. And institutions like St. Andrews must help lead the way. In a time of dwindling government resources in many parts of the world, I speak especially for my own country, while we have increasing environmental stresses, it's more important than ever to focus on what we mean by sustainability. This university has survived and thrived over 600 years, so you know something about this. Now, it cannot be done without high standards, even uncomfortable truth-telling, and without academia injecting its work into public debates without fear of intimidation or retaliation. Consider my fellow honoree, Lord Oxbridge. He was the chair